Well, didn't quite make it to 7 days, but how about almost six? I got to see what these things look like. So let's go ahead and start breaking these open and see what they look like. Should be interesting. Let me just say before I open these up that this is the absolute wrong thing to do with your carburetors. Don't ever let them soak for as long as I have. No matter what the results are here, it's not a good thing for the finish on that carburetor. So I'm eager to see what's going on here. I'm a little. It's a little freaky, the result we got after 24 hours. So let's go ahead and start cracking these open. We'll get them on the bench and see what's happening. All right, let's take a look at this Berryman first. Ugh. That stinks lovely. And the Berrymans. Alright. Let's see what we got here. So, it doesn't look bad, actually. This was our dirty one, so it looks like most of the dirt and crap is kind of dissolved off here. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, meaning it may have taken off some stuff that we didn't want to, like the finish. But let's get this float bowl off and see how she looks on the inside there. Alright. Well, it doesn't look too bad. This one was kind of worn anyway, so, it didn't have a really nice, perfect finish on it, so, it's not surprising not to see that. Yeah, metering block doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it's going to be pretty easy to get the rest of those gaskets off of there, so, yeah, looks pretty good. Not bad. Alright, let's get the rest of the things broken down off here. Let's see how this electric choke turned out. Again, I don't know how trustworthy that is at this point, but at least it's cleaned everything off. It looks like the finish isn't damaged too bad by it being in there for that many number of days. So, okay. Clip off there, yeah. I guess it doesn't look too bad. I'm not. I don't think I'd be opposed to using that again. I think maybe just a little bit of cleaning and rinsing that stuff out of there. Hit it with a little bit of spray cleaner and blow through it, and it's probably good. Well, a little vacuum secondaries pod's very clean. That's just starting to feel a little weird, so obviously you're not going to reuse that. It's part of your rebuild kit anyway, so yeah, all this stuff is really loose. It's going to clean off here pretty good. One, like I said, wasn't horrible, but yeah, so the Berryman's isn't, a little bit of carb cleaner and this thing will clean up really nice. Unfortunately, I've had this one for, well, not this one, but a couple others for well over a year for sale, and no one's bought them, so I don't think these are worth anything really. So, all right. Yeah, pretty clean, but looks like it was pretty clean to start with, so not bad. This one's certainly reusable, but like I said, I think it's just going to go into scrap. Maybe I'll just box it up and in case somebody needs one down the road, but highly unlikely. So, okay, the Berryman's wasn't too bad. Let's get this one boxed up and put away, and then let's move on to the next one. Okay, I think Pine Sol's right here, so alright. Wow. Okay. pine saw was one of my controls, and if I remember right anyway, this was one that was fairly clean. But it's interesting. Yeah, this was one of the clean ones, I'm sure. It's interesting. It's starting to show some of that weird looking stuff that the super clean was doing to it. So I wonder if this one's going to look a little funky in some spots. But it's kind of, yeah, it's chewing up those boosters pretty bad. So even though it's a fairly aggressive cleaner, and remember, we didn't dilute this at all. This is completely undiluted. You kind of see what it's doing to the that booster. So maybe something that's unprotected, doesn't have a, like a coating on it like the outside does. But yeah, that's pretty interesting to see. Okay, let's knock the front bowl off and see what it looks like. While the pine saw doesn't seem like it's really caustic, it's pretty nasty stuff, especially undiluted. Remember, this is the control, so it's got kind of a funny smell to it on the inside. I wonder if some of this stuff kind of broke down a little bit, but yeah, it looks like some of that shiny coating has started to come off. So let's get the accelerator pump off. We didn't do that on the other one, but let's pop this one off real quick, see what it looks like. A little full of fluid still. I mean, it's in still pretty decent shape in there. But yeah, the fluid definitely got in there. Diaphragm's starting to deteriorate, but I mean, you'd kind of expect that after sitting in that for a while, but still in good enough shape to reuse. Let's keep tearing her down and see what it looks like. I guess we can look at this real quick. At least this one's still in usable condition. We'll see one here in just a minute that isn't, but other than it stinks pretty nice. There's really not much redeeming quality to this pine saw, but I mean, I guess it's clean. But like I said, this was kind of a control, and the worst thing it's doing is really just breaking this down. So kind of unfortunate, but again, these carburetors are not really high movers for me, and yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, like I said, that deterioration occurring on the boosters is kind of concerning, but I guess again, you're going to get some sort of negative effect from something that's undiluted like this. But doesn't look horrible, but would I use it? I guess that would have to be pretty doggone desperate to use something like that. But well, let's get the simple green one out of there and see how that looks. See if it's any better. It doesn't appear that Simple Green was much of our friend either. That is pretty nasty. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but it, man, it's starting to eat away there too. Wow. Almost looks like those black versions of the Holley HP series. You can still starting to eat away at the finish on that arm too. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty gross. So, alright, I'm just going to break this down all the way and then we'll look at the pieces individually. No reason to go one by one. So let me get it broken down and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, it started to really discolor the outside of this thing. Started to get some of the insides. You know, the bowls are that way. They're discolored like crazy. The transfer tube's in pretty good shape, so I'm assuming I could reuse that again if I had to. Kind of weird though on the vacuum pod here, which was full. Outside is discolored and that shiny coating is gone, but the insides are pretty good. So, like I say, these were full of fluid, so I don't understand why it didn't deteriorate the way it did on the outside. Same with the electric choke. It started to creep in there a little bit, but again, it was full of fluid, so just kind of a weird one. But okay, well, the next one unfortunately is the ugly one. So yeah, we already saw what the super clean did after 24 hours. God only knows what it's going to look like right now, so that's the catastrophic one. Let's get it out of there and get it on the bench. It's still kind of moving around, the fluid is. Let's see if there's any air pockets in there. Yep, see how it's bubbling up? I don't know if you can. Alright, let's get it out of there. Woohoo, boy. OMG, that is not... Oh man, that's not good at all. That is taking a beating. I need to get some close-ups of this to show you really what this looks like, but that is just eating away desperately at the material. There's nothing in here that's... Wow. I mean, when the transfer tube is gone, it is completely 100% eaten away. Now, it was starting to do that after day one. When we looked at this after, right at 24 hours, it was in pretty bad condition. But, it's gone the rest of the way. Look at that. It just is, there's nothing left. It's just, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to start breaking this one apart, and if I see anything, let's just go ahead and get this front bowl off and see how bad it looks and see what the inside, I'm really curious to see what the inside of this looks like, so let's get the bowl off and take a look. Wow. Oh boy. Wow. That's got an older brass float in it. And it is not looking very healthy. It's eating away at everything. It still didn't get the gaskets off very easily, but that's literally amazing how awful that is. Alright, let's keep breaking it down. Alright. Oh, man. Was doing a number on the secondary bowl there. Wow. Phew. Yeah, it's just like, that's really amazing. Yeah, I'm a little bit lost for words on that one. Whew. That's really crazy. Wow. Alright, let's keep going. Not much more than what we've already seen elsewhere, but yeah, it's just... That super clean is just doing an absolute number on that aluminum. It's just deteriorated it, and it's starting to just eat it away. And I have a feeling if I left this in here for 30, 60, 90 days, it would start to show some real, maybe break it down much further than that. That's after, just a really short amount of time. And it's just It's literally amazing what it's done to it. And I guess it just shows you how fragile that is if you leave it in for such a long period of time where it's just uncontrolled. And yeah, I'm going to assume that, this carburetor is probably not usable anymore. It's just really remarkable, how awful it is. I went ahead and knocked the base plate off of it just to see, and it's, the inside of the choke isn't bad. I mean, it's starting to blacken like, the Simple Green solution did. And it really didn't destroy anything in the electric choke too bad. Inside of the vacuum secondaries pod, doesn't look too bad. But wow, what it's starting to do to everything else is pretty remarkable. Well, let me clear the bench off, get the carburetors back up here, and we'll talk a little bit about this. Yikes. Everything we did here was wrong. It was the wrong way to clean it. The right solutions in some instances. The Berryman's obviously is very, very good, but it's for a short period of time. It's not made to put on there for the extended periods of time. Even in a 24-hour time period where we did the first time, the deterioration that this Super Clean did to that carburetor was just downright horrible. There's just nothing right about any of this. So never leave these carburetors, dipped in that type of, even those household cleaners with, the Pine Sol and the Simple Green, and it's just, none of this is correct. So leaving it in there for an extended period of time, I knew we were going to get some poor results, but that's just absolutely downright awful. None of these carburetors are worth anything anymore. They're absolutely destroyed. So really, if you got any questions on this one or you want to argue about it down below, tell me I should have used some different material or different cleaning supplies. That's really what I took from this, is I took your suggestions on what to clean this with, and that's why we came up with those those four. But really, there's only one thing left to do with all these carburetors, and it's pretty obvious.